know I love music. And every time I hear something hot, it makes me want to move. It makes me want to have fun. But it's something about this joint right here. This joint right here, it makes me want to... Let it go. Can't let this thing called love get away from you. Feel free right now, hold on what you want.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Hustle Woman Radio, where the joy of the Lord is our strength, so that the obstacles of life don't become our kryptonite. This is the station where you will learn, laugh, and get loved on. I'm your host, the Hustle Woman herself, Aquila Maddox, and I'm also known as the Inspirationalist. I have a passion to see women walk in joy, peace, and love within themselves as well as their relationships. And that causes a major impact in your productivity as well as your self-esteem. Because I don't want to see my queens depressed and unaware of their self-worth. Ladies and gentlemen, I am super excited to be with you here on another amazing Sunday. I hope you all had a wonderful day. If you went to worship, I hope worship was amazing for you. I hope you had an opportunity to connect with the Father in a way like never before. And if you were able to relax at home, I hope and pray that you were able to connect with your family, because God honors that just the same. And so anyway, today I'm super excited because I actually was like, I want to do a little special dedication here to the single moms. I was able to participate in an amazing event on yesterday, and it was a woman empowerment event. And I would like to give a special shout out to Kelsey. You did an amazing job, sis. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of such an amazing and an awesome opportunity. There were so many women there, I'm telling you, that were just empowering. It was just overwhelming. And I must say, the Inspirationalist truly had a phenomenal time. I definitely walked away with some amazing nuggets. Do you hear me? I am just dirt in a dress. I'm dirt in pumps. And either way, I am able to be dirt created by God, being able to be a reflection of His glory. It was just amazing. Divine did an amazing job with a baby on the hip, giving her amazing peace. She does spoken word. Check her out. She's actually one of my friends on Facebook now. Yay! So had an opportunity to connect with Divine. First had the opportunity to see her at Home Base, which is hosted by the amazing Harold Branch, otherwise known as HB. And so anyway, it was just amazing. Met some comedians that absolutely were just fun. I tell you, Comedian Rain was in the building. We also had Aisha Renee in the building. Just amazing. You got some amazing vendors that were also women who are out there doing their own thing. And you know, Hustle Woman is the modern day Proverbs 31 woman. So it's a reflection of our ability, again, to operate in our capacity where we own businesses, take care of families. I saw a lovely lady there who had her grandson right there helping in her business of essential oils. So it was just amazing, a phenomenal time. If you missed it, I tell you, look forward to seeing more about, you know, her up and coming event. She's going to make this thing annual, you guys. So I look forward to next year, and I'm sure it'll be just as phenomenal, if not greater. But anywho, I met a young lady, and she was a single mom. And she said that I really was able to be a blessing to her. So it just placed it upon my heart, you know, just a very passionate place is being a single mom. And it's not because I wear it as, you know, oh my gosh, it's something that I'm ashamed of, or I don't want to do, or, you know, I want a different story. This is why Mary J is going in the background of I'm just fine. I wouldn't trade my life. I wouldn't change my story. I'm just fine, just the way I am. And so anyhow, I wanted to take this opportunity to really address all my single moms out there and just love on you. I shared something that I want to reiterate again at this very moment, and it's that every woman, I believe, is a wife. And my reasoning for saying that is because I believe being a wife is a heart posture. I believe it's a position that it goes beyond the I do. It's what it starts in your mind and it starts in your heart. And in that, I believe we all are on the same playing field. So now that takes away from me seeming to be a less than because you have a husband and I don't. And it actually puts you now in a space, if you are married, to empower me. as a woman who may be in the waiting. And even if I'm not in the waiting, what I even do as a single mom is I promote healthy relationships within other couples. And this isn't what I'm saying we have to do as single moms, but this is my passion and desire. So I go and I love on the wives who are married, and I say, hey, I'll watch your kids while you go out and have, time building and cultivating the relationship with your spouse, right? So this is my position, because I believe, truth be told, my heart and your heart is in the same place, which is to see families thrive. And I don't think that my family, because I don't have a husband, should do any worse than your family because you do. And so that puts us in a place where, again, we are better able to work together. And so anyhow, with that being said, here's what I wanted to share. Man, it is some amazing women all throughout the Bible. And some of them had even became widows. And that means that they were without husbands. They were without that father figure in their life as well. And although you may not be widowed by someone passing away, but I want you to know that God has a special place in his heart for you. Because let me tell you, even when he said in his scripture that I will father the fatherless, he gave an account for the reality that there will be men who will not be in their position, that there will be children who will miss the opportunity to have that male role model right there in their homes. But it does not take away from them in the aspect of God saying, listen, I am forever going to be their provider, and I'm also going to be there as a head and an authority in your life. And with that being said, man, I want you to know that God, he was saying that we had a capacity suitable enough for he and I, or you and him, to join on a team and still rear beautiful children. And I don't want us to apologize for our story. God is so intentional that he even allowed those very stories, because he knew that once we start piecing all of these things together, all of the circumstances, all of the struggles, all of the frustrations, when you start piecing all of that together, you really start to see how God is even just that much more amazing. Because I know for me, when I became a single mother with my son, I think I was just excited alone, to be honest with you, to just prove to myself that I could take care of my family, that I could take care of my son. And then when I became a single mom with my daughter, I began to see it as, like, gee, well, I kind of done this already. You know what I mean? Like, realistically, she's still a child. She's going to need the same thing that, my son needed. Right? So it was. And with our experiences, even when there's those who have had these experiences around us that we may not have necessarily partaken in on our own, we have an opportunity to say, I've seen the outcome of this, or I've heard the outcome of this, and because of that, I already know that I can succeed, because I've seen other women walk this road of singleness while still going to school, where they're still managing a business in corporate America, regardless of whatever it is that they're doing, and you've seen them come out on top as a winner. And that's to provide an example that you can win just the same. But I also wanted to address something as well, because I saw this question asked. Why do strong women partner with weak men? This creates a lot of bitterness, because women will partner with a man, have a child, a child come out of that situation, and then totally regret, like, listen, I just partnered with this bum, and I'm left with the responsibility of this child for the rest of, their life and my life as well. But I really want to encourage you to know that we've often heard it said that behind every great man is a great woman, or behind every successful man, is a strong woman. That realistically speaks to our ability to influence. God created us to influence. I mean, look at Adam and Eve and him making her out of an internal place. Believe it or not, all through the scriptures even, and we can see it present day right here, our greatest influence is not our beauty, which is fleeting. It is not the way we dress, and it honestly doesn't last. The most influential aspect of who we are is connected to, and it starts with our insides, which is why God allowed us to be connected to the inner parts of the man. Because now we're going to be able to, we have the ability to pull on a heartstring of man in a whole nother way. God gave us access to that. So what does that mean? It means that I want you to be aware of who you are and to know the power of your influence. Because it's not through your experiences that you become a weaker vessel. It's through our experiences that it actually reveals our strength. And so the more that we spend time cultivating our character and developing who we are and our gifts and our skill sets, the greater we become in our capacity. And even with that, it also empowers our influence. Because now God is going to use all of that. When you think of like the Proverbs 31 woman, which you know this is Hustle Woman Radio, this is what we're built on. This is the foundation of the very fact that we're even here right now. The Proverbs 31 woman was out there taking ownership of the land. She was out there, buying, and she was trading, and she was getting, her fabrics from afar. She had her maid service that she was taking care of and everything, right? Everything she was doing. And her husband was sitting at the gates receiving the praise. Now, here's the thing. Believe it or not, she would not have been able to be as successful if she wasn't humble and still confident in knowing all of who she was. That's the value of our influence. That's the value of how God created us. That we can influence, and I don't even gotta brag. I don't have to go out here and tell you every single thing that it is that I'm doing to convince you to know the value of who I am. The value still lies there. There are people all across the world who don't have any clue about the 4 C's when it comes to diamonds. They may not recognize the power in its color, cut, and clarity. And, they may not, maybe 3 C's, don't judge me, okay? But either way, they may not know the value of that, of the cut in and of itself, which helps it take the light and then reflect it in a way that shows all the pretty colors. They may not know the value of the cut, the round, the oval, the heart-shaped diamond now, and things like that. Like, they may not know the value of that, but it doesn't take away from the fact that the diamond still has value. So just because you may have an experience and you even partner up with a person who you may classify as being a weaker vessel than you, it does not mean that it's a reflection of your weakness. Because we were created to influence. And I guarantee you this, that as long as your focus is honestly on constantly improving whom you are and cultivating all that God has made you to be, anyone who comes in contact with the very essence of your being will never be the same. Because if we mimic Jesus, which is who I'm following, he wasn't out to convince everybody to understand and know who he was. He wasn't even out there to influence people in a very direct way. A lot of his influence was indirect. Someone may have heard about a great work that he did, and then they wanted to, as a result, get to know him. So with that being said, nothing is wasted. The indirect influence as well as the direct influence. None of your experience has been by accident. You may feel like you lost out because you may want a partner and you want to connect with somebody. But understand that that still adds to who you are. You learn more about yourself each and every opportunity. And I'll say this, that experiences lived are just experiences, but experiences learned become wisdom. So don't make apologies for being a single mom. It's actually not all that bad. Because we have the ability, just the same, being on the same playing field, to still influence life change in those around us. We teach our children how, despite our circumstances and what may appear to be a lopsided team, we still win. Because life is not always fair. But with God, we know that we will still always win. Now, how does that make sense to the brain? It really doesn't. But God is just that amazing that I don't need it to make sense. I'm a living witness of what that testimony looks like, sincerely. Lopsided or not, I must tell you that I'm out winning. So I hope that in some way that I was able to be an encouragement to you today. I hope that you walk away wanting to focus more on who you are and who God has created you to be. Focus on purpose. That means with intention and what God has created you to do. And I guarantee you, that's a life-changing phenomenon in and of itself. I kid you not, to focus on purpose. This is the Inspirationalist. Super excited again for women to know the value of who they are, understand their amazing capacity, and be able to walk in their purpose. Until next time, I'm not going to change my life. My life is just fine.